This video breaks down the Memphis Grizzlies offense over the last 10 games. Notably, the Grizzlies are 6th in the NBA in offensive efficiency and also have the lowest frequency of pick and roll in the NBA. This presentation will cover the key offensive principles that the Memphis Grizzlies use, being transition, reshaping the floor through 5-man movement patterns, mismatch hunting, and unselfishness. These 4 principles make up 71.7% of the shots that they take. This video will also look into semi-transition actions and triggers, as well as other sets and actions that they use at a lower frequency. Head coach Taylor Jenkins has recently said in an interview that they want to be the fastest playing, fastest moving, and most collective team in the NBA. He also mentions how they want to create advantages through transition and through their 5-man movement patterns in the half court. Both concepts will be covered in this video. We'll start here with transition. The Memphis Grizzlies are first in the NBA in transition frequency at 24.7%. They're 10th in the NBA at points per possession in transition at 1.15 points per possession, which is the second highest points per possession play type behind cutting for the team. A few keys that make their transition successful is that 1 to 4 have the freedom to advance the ball quickly. Certain lineups allow all 5 players to bring up the ball. This reduces the lag time and speeds up the transition. Secondly, all other players without the basketball sprint as fast as they can up the sideline. The 5-man always runs to the rim. They advance the ball quickly through the pass or the dribble. They move the ball to the opposite side of the floor to play numbers advantages as the 5's cutting to the rim, and all players are very willing to shoot the 3 ball in transition. Lastly, they find mismatches caused from their fast transition. Secondly, is their 5-man movement patterns in the half court, reshaping the floor, or what some will call wheeling. The basic premise of this principle is very aggressive lift and drift concepts. They cut the corner on middle drives and drift very aggressively to the corner, commonly called a cut and slide, but they do this every single middle drive. This opens space for drivers and essentially removes the nail defender, opening up the middle of the floor. It puts pressure on the low help with cutters on the baseline, which cutting is their highest points per possession at 1.285. It also opens up spot up 3 opportunities where they shoot 1.031 points per possession at the highest frequency in the NBA at 28.3%.
Backs down against Barnes. Looks, he hits.
The third principle is mismatch hunting. Although the Memphis Grizzlies are 7th in the NBA in isolation possessions at 9 per game, they do this slightly differently to other teams. All players are involved in the isolation by reshaping the floor and flattening the defense, opening space for the driver, but also cutting and relocating on the drive. The Grizzlies have 2 key players that are great in mismatches. The first is, of course, Ja Morant, and the second is Jaren Jackson Jr. Ja Morant is dangerous going downhill one-on-one. Even in dead ball situations, Ja Morant will speed down the floor to create an advantage going downhill one-on-one with his defender.
Both teams with 8 paint points, shot clock at 7. Morant for 3, it's through.
Jaren Jackson Jr. also poses massive threats to the defense because of his size, his ability to get downhill, but also shoot the transition 3 ball. Jaren Jackson Jr. has an elite 2-foot touch floater that he can get to with smaller guards or even similar sized players. If he's matched up with the 5-man that's much slower, he's not afraid to pull the 3 ball trailing behind the play.
Feet away. Jaren Jackson Jr. comes right. And Jaren Jackson Jr. had the 14-point second quarter. Crosses over, contact, banks it in.
Profile. He did say, though, defensively, they got to do a much better job off the dribble, as you see right there.
He's at 36-17, second best record that the franchise has ever had at the All-Star break. Jaren hooks and hits.
Jaren Jackson's also a huge post threat when mismatches happen in transition. They often get it to him in the short corner, where he's either able to make a play for himself or can find teammates when double teams come.
They'll feed Jaren on the right side, wheels in against Sohan. Finger
has a mismatch here. No double team yet. Boy, that's light work, Tim.
Jackson looking to isolate.
Achua trying to pester him. Jackson gathers, uses his left hand.
He guards Jaren now. No help from Wemby yet. Gigi, a rhythm three. Bango! Rest for Ja Morant. Jaren against Sohan. Gigi, 5 to shoot. Down the lane. Oh!
The fourth and most important concept that the Memphis Grizzlies offense uses is their unselfishness to share the basketball. The Grizzlies are fourth in the NBA in assists at 29 per game. But when you watch the Memphis Grizzlies offense, you can see that they're all willing passers. They make quick decisions, especially in advantage situations. Once they have an advantage, the ball never stops moving, and they're very willing to make the extra pass to attack longer closeouts. If it wasn't for their unselfishness, none of the other principles would be able to work. The unselfishness is the backbone of the Memphis Grizzlies offense, and nothing else would be possible if it wasn't for this.
Now Jaren on the feed to Edey. Yes, and the foul.
If the Grizzlies don't have obvious advantages in transition, they get into semi-transition actions or triggers. There's a massive emphasis on playing actions in the middle of the floor, using two-man actions as the players around them respace the floor, just like the five-man movement patterns we've already discussed. All of the triggers within the offense are based on the five-man, which is always running through the middle channel of the floor. The most frequent trigger in transition that Memphis Grizzlies use is the wide pin. As I let the video play here, there's lots of wrinkles out of this action. Reject, curl, catch and rescreen, which is the highest frequency wrinkle in this action. Double drag, twirl, double drag, veer. I'm going to let these clips play.
Beyond the arc, the attempts are up, the makes are up for Wembanyama. Morant hangs and hits.
What are we going to do about it? And just kind of paused and looked at the reactions from his teammates. He said, hey, how about we just go out and do what we set out to do? Better defensive activity, more ball movement offensively. Let's try and get into our offense.
Another one of those guys who say they play at their own pace.
You can't speed them up. Aldama, yes.
Although Memphis are last in the league in pick and roll frequency, they do get to pick and roll in transition, often with Zach Edey on the floor. Spacings that they can get into here are empty pick and rolls. They also get into empty step-ups. The best spacing for Ja Morant is the spread pick and roll as he comes through while everyone's wheeling around him. And I'm going to lump in elbow pick and roll and get actions into the same category here. Both middle pick and roll and get action happens in the middle of the floor, where they aim to get downhill as the other players respace the floor.
Smart lobs for Edey, works against Barnes and forces that in.
Ja Morant for a few years in Memphis. Now a starting role is
being 12 a game.
The Grizzlies are conceding that shot. Nice find.
Morant gets the high screen. Probing, leading, and scoring.
There's Zach Edey. Hands it off to Kennard, who lays.
Has come in. So Grady Dick is the only starter on the floor. Morant backhanding it up. And
the Grizzlies have the #1 pace in the NBA, #5 offense in the NBA, #1 scoring team.
The Grizzlies very rarely get into actions and sets in the half court, but here are a few that they have run in the last 10 games. This one here is a step-up pop for Jaren Jackson Jr. to either shoot the three ball or to get downhill on a favorable matchup. I'm going to let these clips play out here. The next one is pin down action, where they use this action a lot to free up a guard. They can catch and shoot, attack one-on-one. They often get to pick and roll out of this action, either the spread or elbow spacing. They have a post-up wrinkle, a zoom wrinkle, and a twirl Spain wrinkle that we've seen in the last 10 games.
See what the Grizzlies run out of the timeout. High ball screen for Bane, who rejects it. Aldama. Nice cut by Wells and punching it home.
Van Vliet is trying to stick on Kennard. Now Tate is on him, and Kennard down the lane.
Really quick team. With the game the way it is, the thing that they do exceptionally well is they attack the space and they attack offensive rebounds.
Kennard drives baseline, and Clark is there, puts
On his back in the paint. He's just got to shoot that turnaround jump hook over his left shoulder.
Averaging almost 10 a game. Little DHO to Bane, sprays it out to Jackson Jr. and he
6 points. That is the stats to watch in this game. As you noted earlier, the Grizzlies turn the ball over a lot. They also give up a lot of points off turnovers. 21 per game, which is second most in the NBA.
The Grizzlies also get into Iverson action, Horn's flare action, and Horn screens actions in the half court, often in after timeout situations or rear walk-ups. I'll also show you the sideline out of bounds.
At home, these 90s games.
Yes, I love it. It's the Brevin era.
Exactly.
Morant drives on Shed, double clutches it up and in.
In this first half, their activity has changed the dynamic of this game.
They're 8-10 against plus 500 teams in this building. Aldama, yes. Grady Dick is crowding Vince Williams. BC with the screen, pick and roll, pop-up jumper is good.
Can run in and grab one of those rebounds and pick up the loose change.
There's a look at some of the pertinent numbers. Took 6 seconds for that last score. Bane!
I think this Clippers team, Brevin, I think they're trying to find some type of rhythm, because there are games where they are as dominant as they are tonight. Wells splashes the
go. Memphis up by a bucket. Jackson Jr. on the pick and pop. And another
David, all the Knicks have had a knack tonight. Sims, Top, and Kolick have come into the game. Huff comes into the game. His first shot, that's good.
I appreciate you watching the video. It's the first time I've done something like this, so let me know what you think. If you do want to see more, make sure you follow me on Instagram or subscribe to this channel. Let me know if I should post more stuff like this in the future. It was definitely a lot of fun looking into the Grizzlies offense. If I do find the time, I'd love to do more of this in the future.